Well, thank you for sticking with us here on THV 11 Plus for Arkansas News Now. I'm Tamer Knight alongside meteorologist Simone Thomas. And Simone, today it's your time to shine because it's all about the forecast.
Yeah, we've been talking about the chance for severe weather overnight that we've been watching a few breaks in the clouds this afternoon across the capital city, but still fairly cloudy out there across the state. We've got the rain and the storm system off to our west. That'll start to bring more impacts later this afternoon and into the evening. Again, you see a few breaks in the clouds, but temperatures are fairly warm out there, middle to upper 70s with some low 80s to our south. 79 right now in the capital city and in Hot Springs, 80 on the dot in Stuttgart and in Arkadelphia. Pine Bluff up to 83 here at 12:30. As we continue through the afternoon, a few breaks in the clouds, but once that sun sets, very cloudy as rain cover starts to increase from the west. And again, all modes of severe weather are on the table this evening. Just because we have that dash risk for your hail and your tornado, I don't want you to get concerned or scared. The ingredients are there, but that does not mean everybody will see that. We'll talk through the timeline in more detail in your 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
Well, thank you, Simone. With fighting on the ground in Iran and the Middle East intensifying, questions remain about how and when the campaign will end and who will lead the Persian nation in the future. Natalie Brent has more details from the White House.
Israel stepped up strikes overnight on Iranian-backed Hezbollah targets in Beirut, while at the same time hitting Iranian regime infrastructure in Tehran.
The United States military, together with the wonderful Israeli partners, continues to totally demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule.
Iran's president has confirmed other countries have tried to begin mediation efforts. President Trump responded this morning saying there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender and the selection of a great and acceptable leader. The president, in phone interviews with news organizations, says he wants the regime's leadership structure fully removed. He's also urged Iranian diplomats from around the world to help.
The United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody.
In Iran, hardline supporters mourned the death of the supreme leader during Friday prayers as the state news agency reports arrangements are being made to select a successor. Experts on the region say the Ayatollah's son has emerged as a leading candidate.
If Mojtaba indeed is chosen as his father's successor, it would indicate that the Islamic Republic is trying to have continuity, is trying to ensure that the Revolutionary Guards, that civil-military relations remain the same.
President Trump says Revolutionary Guard members can have full immunity if they lay down their arms or face guaranteed death. Natalie Brent, CBS News, the White House.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the CEOs of defense industry firms are expected to meet with President Trump at the White House this afternoon. The U.S.-Israeli war with Iran continues to take a toll on the economy. Crude oil prices are now up more than 20% over the past week, and Thursday was another tough day for stocks on Wall Street. The Dow lost more than 700 points, driven by the intensifying conflict. On CBS Morning, CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger discussed what people should do if they're feeling anxious about the volatility.
I really think it's important to control what you can control. That means beefing up your emergency reserve fund, paying down that outstanding credit card balance if you can. If those two things are covered, you know what's really a great thing? To try to put more money into your retirement plan if you can.
With the spike in oil prices expected to lead to more pain at the pump, Jill also suggests Americans fill up their gas tanks or drive less. According to Gas Buddy, the national average gas price has jumped 32 cents a gallon over the last 7 days to roughly $3.31 a gallon, the highest since August of 2024. And a weaker than expected jobs report showed jobs losses in February and the unemployment rate rising. Economists say it's a warning sign for the U.S. economy, but there's more encouraging news for job seekers. Experts say March is historically the biggest month for hiring. CBS Evan Moon spoke with a career expert about what drives the spring surge and how to stand out in a competitive market.
Employers cut 92,000 jobs in February, and the unemployment rate rose to 4.4%.
This is an ugly jobs report, and it's ugly really across the board.
Bankrate senior economist Mark Hamrick says losses were seen across nearly all sectors, including 40,000 healthcare jobs weighed down by a nurses' strike.
The economy is facing a rough patch here, and we've seen inconsistent jobs creation going back to last summer.
But if you're hunting for a new gig, there may be opportunity ahead. March is historically the strongest month for hiring.
Now is an amazing time if you're a job seeker to get your materials ready, because we are going to hopefully see an increase in postings.
ZipRecruiter career expert Sam DeMace says a few factors drive the spring spike.
We have the bonus exodus that happens in March, where a lot of folks get their bonuses, and then we see career movement. So there's a lot of opportunities for new hires at companies. Another reason being hiring managers want to get their teams locked down and solidified and spend their budgets before the summer slowdown hits.
To stand out, DeMace has tips. First, for your resume and title.
Be a specialist, not a generalist. It is a specialist market right now. Be very specific about your skill sets and relate them back to the job.
New AI systems look for exact keyword matches.
And if you are tired of getting ghosted, DeMace says managers are now looking for more than just messages of enthusiasm or even coffee dates.
That is the old way. The new way is to share your value proposition. Hey, this is what I do well. Here's a problem that I know I can solve at your organization, and I just applied. Can we connect?
For those switching industries completely, confidence is key.
Don't apologize for missing experience. Own what makes you different and unique.
Despite the seasonal boost, DeMace says it remains a competitive market. So stay patient. Evan Moon, CBS News.
A new group of anti-corruption lawyers is suing over the deal that keeps TikTok operating in the U.S. The lawsuit from the Public Integrity Project argues the Trump administration is violating a bipartisan 2024 law. It bans TikTok in the U.S., barring its sales to a non-Chinese company. A group of investors now controls the app, but ByteDance still owns part of it. The lawsuit claims that that's not good enough. It seeks fines and a potential new deal, but not TikTok's removal from U.S. app stores. And a coalition of 24 states is suing the Trump administration to block a new 10% global tariff. Led by New York, California, Oregon, and Arizona, the group filed the lawsuit Thursday in the U.S. Court of International Trade. They're asking the court to declare the new tariffs illegal and prevent them from being implemented. This comes after the Supreme Court ruled last month against a previous attempt by the president to impose sweeping tariffs. And retail spending fell by 2% in January. That's according to the Commerce Department, which is just now reporting for the month due to delays from the government shutdown. Economists thought spending would be flat for the month, but not go down. Declining spending can be worrying because it frequently foreshadows trouble for the economy. January's fall isn't overly concerning because it might be explained by harsh weather that kept people at home across much of the country. And the time change is almost here. Hear what doctors say you should start doing right now to make the transition easier. We'll have those tips coming up.
And as we continue through the afternoon, storm chances increasing later this evening and overnight into your Saturday. Your 7-day outlook is coming up in 4 minutes.
The Arkansas Latino Hall of Fame is celebrating a new group of honorees tonight in Little Rock. The 2025 class will be inducted during a ceremony at the Clinton Presidential Library starting at 7 p.m. Organizers say the honorees have made a lasting impact across Arkansas in areas like health education, business, civil rights, and the arts. Many of them have spent decades serving communities across the state, helping shape the next generation of leaders. And donations continue to shape healthcare in Arkansas. At UAMS, a $200,000 gift from Tommy and Catherine May will strengthen an ALS research chair named in Tommy May's honor. May have supported the university for years and was diagnosed with ALS in 2005. The funding will help expand research and improve care for patients living with the disease. And if you're in need of a place to recycle close to home, the Little Rock Zoo is hosting Little Rock's Recycles Day this Saturday. It runs from 9 a.m. to noon and will take items like shreddable documents, up to 5 boxes, and most electronics except refrigerators and window and AC units, plus plastic bottles, bags, and glass containers. It's a simple way to clear clutter and recycle responsibly.
Hello again, and thanks for sticking around on this gloomy Friday afternoon. The storm system that we've been keeping an eye on is still well off to our west here at 1242, but over the next couple hours we will start to see some storms rolling in to portions of western Arkansas. As early as 4 o'clock, when the kids are starting to get out of school, some storms could be interacting with some of our westernmost counties through the evening into sunset. More of the Arkansas River Valley, some of north central Arkansas could pick up on some rain coverage, and then later this evening after dinner, we'll see more of that roll into central Arkansas, and then things will increase in coverage overnight. We still have that enhanced risk of severe weather to our west, slight risk for much of central Arkansas, including the Little Rock Metro, and the marginal risk just to our east. So it is expected that those storms come out of Oklahoma very strong as they move through the state. They weaken a bit, and overnight and Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon as they move to the southeastern part of the state. Still strong enough to give us some gusty winds and a few marginally severe impacts, but definitely looking to see that weaken as it moves through the state. That flooding risk, still slight risk across western portions of the state today. Into tomorrow, that axis shifting east as well as the rain is moving through the state. So through the rest of this afternoon, again, likely when kids are starting to come home from school, we're starting to see some impacts across some of those western rows of counties through this evening and into your nighttime. More of that impacting some of north central Arkansas. Here in central Arkansas, closer to the Little Rock Metro, seeing more of those impacts early tomorrow morning. We'll be talking about storms likely for your morning show tomorrow. Through the middle part of the day, we're seeing those impacts starting to get into southeastern Arkansas, where we could see that line of storms ahead of that cold front that at this point is starting to approach central Arkansas, and it's moving out of the state by tomorrow evening. We could continue to see some stray showers into Sunday, but that severe weather threat will be moving on. We get a little bit of a break on Sunday, and the rain we're looking to get through Sunday morning could be a couple of inches between central and southern Arkansas. These purples closer to 2 inches, these plums into that red closer to 3 inches. That's just between tonight and into Saturday, because we get that break on Sunday, then we'll have more opportunities for rain into your work week. It looks like another round of severe weather could be possible Tuesday into Wednesday, because our long range outlooks are highlighting a slight risk across portions of the state. Now, this is still considered a day 5 and day 6, so there's room for this to change, and we'll talk more about those changes over the next couple of days, but it does look likely that we'll pick up a couple of more inches of rain before the end of next week. So the 2 to 3 that we'll see through the weekend, plus another 2 to 3 possible, because we're seeing these estimates, these oranges, closer to 5 inches of rain expected over the next week. So we've got a nice weekend as far as rain ahead of us, but we've got to watch out for severe weather with this. So make sure tonight as you get ready for bed, you keep the ringer on, you turn up the NOAA weather radio, you have multiple ways to receive warnings, because this will be a long night for us. We'll be keeping you informed along the way, and I don't want you to be worried. I just want you to be aware. Chief Meteorologist Tom Brandon will be streaming in about an hour and a half, a little bit more than that, on THV 11 Plus with a long form explanation of what to expect. But this is what we have right now through the weekend. Again, we'll get a little bit of a break on Sunday. Sunday also offering our first 7 p.m. sunset of 2026. Then those rain chances return for Monday. Some showers into Tuesday with another round of severe weather possible for the middle part of your week. It's likely as we round out next week, we'll see some cooler temperatures closer to the 60s in the afternoon.
Well, thank you, Simone. Don't forget daylight saving time starts Sunday, so you'll move your clocks an hour ahead, and that shift doesn't have to take a toll on your sleep. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to prepare now so you can spring forward without losing any of those Z's.
It's that time of year again. Sunday, March 8th, spring forward an hour starting at 2 a.m.
With spring forward specifically, people tend to have a little bit more difficulty acclimating to it.
Michelle Drerup with Cleveland Clinic says data shows this shift in time can lead to a rise in cardiovascular events and accidents. Sleep disruptions can also affect mood due to grogginess, headaches, fatigue, and increased irritability.
We just want to be cautious if you're driving in those early mornings after the time change. Sometimes people may decide like, okay, I'm going to on that Monday morning, I'm not going to schedule anything that takes, a lot more focus or high kind of, attention task.
Drerup says preparing now before the time change is key. Start by gradually adjusting bedtime and wake time. Go to bed 15 to 20 minutes earlier and wake up 15 to 20 minutes sooner. She says it's especially important for children and teens.
So it's not a big hour chunk at one time.
Maximizing light exposure in the morning is also key. Drerup says opening the blinds and going outside to walk will help wake you up. And while it's tempting, she says to avoid midday snoozes and not to compensate with over-caffeination.
Which may help in that moment or for that day, but then potentially puts us at risk for having more difficulty falling asleep that night, depending on timing of when a nap or caffeine use is occurring.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Drerup says springing forward can be especially hard on night owls, people with chronic sleep disorders, and those who have dementia. She says for those groups, it's especially important to prepare early and get light exposure in the morning. And federal data shows women make up only about 11% of the construction industry. In honor of Women's History Month, we'd like to introduce you to one woman who is thriving in the male-dominated field.
I am boss lady on this job site, and then I have to go on and put my mom hat and do dinner and homework.
As a superintendent with the home building company Taylor Morrison, Andrea Valetica is overseeing the construction of more than 90 homes in the Bay Area. She says her passion for all things hands-on started when she was young.
My dad was an electrician, and so his friends would say, "Would you mind coming over and helping me?" And he'd say, "Oh yeah, I'll bring my daughters." And I swear my dad wanted 2 boys, he got 2 girls, and so he made do with what he had.
Valetica hopes her example will inspire more women to join the field.
It's really starting to feel like it's actually March, not just because of the weather, but because of the basketball. We've got conference tournament games for college hoops coming down to the wire, state tournament games for high school hoops being decided at the buzzer. Crazy highlights and more next in sports. Arkansas State men's basketball finished the regular season with the second best record in the Sun Belt. One problem: a couple other teams had that same record, and after all the tiebreaker math, the Red Wolves got the 7 seed in the conference tournament, which means, well, they got to win 5 games in 5 days to make the NCAAs. Starting last night with the 10 seed Georgia Southern in all kinds of trouble, but the Red Wolves, 90 seconds to go, layup falls, tie basketball game. A minute left, we're still tied. Georgia Southern in the corner though. Wow. Knockdown, fell away 3. It's a 3-point game. 5 seconds left. A-State still down by 3. They get the ball in bounds for the tie. The shot is blocked. The follow's no good. And the Red Wolves go one and done in the Sun Belt tournament and await the rest of their postseason fate. Over in the A-Sun, UCA women got the 3 seed, so bye straight to the quarterfinals, taking on North Alabama last night. They actually trailed 13-2 to start the game, but then UCA roars back for an 11-point win. Career high 18 points from Layla Reese, and the Sugar Bears advance to the semifinals on Saturday, where they'll take on the 2 seed Jacksonville. Over to Bryant, host of the 6A state tournament. How about Little Rock Central and Springdale Harbor? Central looking for an upset over the number 1 seed out of the West. Harbor, and a nice hot start. Jamie Dunn flushes it home there. Central up by 12, but in the fourth quarter, Harbor shows why they're a 1 seed. Big comeback, tying the ball game up with that 3 in the final minutes. But Tigers punch back the alley-oop. Why not? Brandon Wright throws it down, and Central upsets top-seeded Harbor 55-50. They advance to the state semifinals, where they'll meet the winner of North Little Rock and Bentonville West. And I'm nice, I won't make you wait. Here's North Little Rock and Bentonville West. Why not? Hot start for the charging Wildcats. Elijah Bryant nails the 3-pointer. West, though, not going to go away easy. Landon Price throws it down. Wolverines lead in the second half, but Kevin Smith and goes into takeover mode in the fourth quarter for North Little Rock. Switching hands there, and then back to Bryant for the nail in the coffin. He had 19 points. Smith had 16. North Little Rock pulls away in the final minute to win 55-47. And half of the 6A boys state semifinals are set. It'll be North Little Rock versus Little Rock Central Saturday at 1:30 for a spot in Hot Springs and the state title game. That's what everyone around the state is fighting for. We got a couple more quarterfinals to go today, semifinals the rest of the weekend, and then next week, state championships in Hot Springs.
And new information today at noon. The University of Arkansas at Little Rock has fired its men's basketball coach. THV11 has confirmed Darrell Walker is out after 8 years as the head coach of the Trojans. The university is holding a press conference at 2 this afternoon to share more information. And of course, you can watch it live on THV11 Plus and THV11.com.
All right, we're starting to see more of those clouds out there. This is a look out west towards downtown and West Little Rock. Cloud cover still picking up ahead of what's going to be a stormy evening and overnight. A final check of that forecast is coming up after the break.
Well, welcome back. Here's a snapshot of what's streaming tonight on THV 11 Plus. It's an easy way to keep up with more local reporting and original THV 11 content. To download the app, just search THV 11 Plus on Roku, Apple TV, or Fire TV. And Simone, I think we want to hear one last look at that forecast before we head out this afternoon.
Well, I think by the time the kids are starting to come home from school, some of western Arkansas could start to pick up on the first few thunderstorms, rain coverage increasing across the state through this evening and overnight. So you need to make sure as you're going to bed tonight, you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Stormy Saturday ahead of you, so that's also something to account for. Get all your outdoor activities done before the sun sets today.
And thank you for tuning in to Arkansas News Now. We'll see you again at 4.